For over 2 decades, SINE at IIT Bombay has been the quiet force behind India's startup revolution. Inside these rooms and labs, ideas took shape, founders found direction, and prototypes became products that reached the world. This is where innovation was nurtured, where collaboration sparked breakthroughs, and where future leaders began their journey. SINE continues to empower the next generation, proving that big change always starts with a small idea and the right ecosystem.
I am delighted that SINE at IIT Bombay is launching its own podcast series focused on innovation and entrepreneurship. Having completed 20 years last year, SINE carries a rich legacy of stories. Stories of innovators turning entrepreneurial dreams into reality, stories of institution building, of human aspirations, successes, and even failures, which are very important for going ahead in entrepreneurial experience. Each of these journeys holds valuable lessons that deserve to be told and shared. The SINE podcast will provide a platform for founders to relive and reflect on their entrepreneurial journeys. For IIT Bombay's leadership and functionaries, it will help to share their role in building a thriving innovation ecosystem. For key stakeholders who contributed to the success of our startups, it will help to offer their perspectives. Through a series of episodes, the podcast will cover topics of interest right from scaling up, creating sustainable businesses, building global companies, and cutting-edge technologies such as quantum computing, AI, biotechnology, semiconductor, and robotics, and many others. Every successful venture starts with a single, simple problem statement and a determination and vision to develop the solution. The path to innovation is never linear. Through this podcast, we aim to share relatable journeys of triumphs and setbacks, empowering young entrepreneurs to vividly visualize their own paths and build unshakable resilience in the dynamic business landscape. I am confident that SINE's podcast will not just be informative and educative, but also will inspire many more innovators to embrace the deep tech entrepreneurship and contribute to the nation's progress and achieving the dream of Vikasit Bharat. Dhanyawad.
You had a career back in corporate, right? But then the switch to IIT Bombay, switching to academia. What made you make that switch?
Almost 14 years of work after my PhD. And yes, what you said is absolutely right. So this
kind of story, right?
Yeah. Story of SINE was sort of in store for many years to come, and I could realize that, and I could see good professors, good students actually having startups down there.
What are your thoughts? Did SINE succeed because of IIT Bombay's reputation, or did IIT Bombay's reputation enhance because of SINE being involved with them?
Entrepreneurship is for everybody. Why limit it to one? Is ultimately national need that we should create employment and jobs and so on and so forth. When we say talent, and it's our duty to grab that talent, bring him, give him proper ecosystem, and see him flourish through.
Professors are trained to be more cautious, be very methodical in their work. They take a line and walk that line, right? And in terms of a founder mindset, it is more fast-paced, immediate, decision making, taking bigger bets. Have you seen some good stories where somebody is able to make that transition from being a very methodical, cautious mindset to a high agency entrepreneurial mindset?
A huge welcome to Professor Milind Atrey, a towering figure in innovation from IIT Bombay. A master of cryogenics, his work spans the globe, from the Department of Atomic Energy in India to Oxford Instruments in the UK. He is the crucial link turning lab discoveries into successful startups and now leads the research critical to national security and space exploration.
Good afternoon, Professor. Welcome to the podcast. We are
Thank you
really
for
happy
having me.
We are really happy to have you here, sir. So, before we start about your journey, we wanted to understand the journey of SINE. How did it come into being?
So, I joined IIT Bombay in 2005 and SINE came into existence in 2004. But before I come to SINE, let me go back in 1998 or 1999, where Professor Phatak actually thought about having a incubation center for information technology only, the companies who were in IT sector. Because as you know, in Y2K, the IT sector was booming and a lot of professors who became professors later wanted to come back to India to start companies in IT. So a solution was basically, why not have them as professors here and they can also start a company. So that time Professor Phatak came up with this idea that why not have incubation center at IIT Bombay in the sector of IT. And the supporters to this thought were no one other than Nandan Nilekani himself and Kamal Rekhi. And that's why you can see there's a department called CRISIT, Kamal Rekhi School of Information Technology. So having support from these two big people, Nandan and Kamal Rekhi, Professor Phatak went ahead and actually started the incubator. And this did very well. In fact, some 8 to 10 startups happened in the area of IT. But in 2004, it was felt, why limit it to only IT sector? Why not go and cut across all the department? For example, mechanical, civil, manufacturing segment was booming that time. And I think it was Professor Ashok Mishra, who was the director then, insisted on having SINE as a center and possibly will do the justice not only for IT, but for every department in IIT. And therefore, Professor Ashok Mishra took support. And I think even the funds came from Rahul Bajaj that time,
I see.
Right, who was possibly the chairman of IIT Bombay then as a BOG. And some fund came from that. And then came into the existence of SINE. And Poini Bhatt, who joined as the COO then, she was the first founding COO of SINE then. And with this, the journey of SINE started in 2004.
Wonderful. So you had a career back in corporate, right? But then the switch to IIT Bombay, switching to academia, what made you make that switch?
Oh, that's that's very interesting. I finished my PhD from IIT Bombay in 1991. Then I joined for 2 years in Tata Research Development and Design Center Pune called TRDDC, which was a very fantastic place. And I really learned a lot working down there. But then after doing that, I specialized in a very super specialized area called cryogenic engineering in mechanical engineering department. I went to Germany to do my postdoc, University of Gießen, very close to Frankfurt. And then I worked very closely with an industry-sponsored project also to develop a cooler which will go to very low temperature. Having done that, I was called or I was invited to work with Department of Atomic Energy, which I did. I joined Rajaramana Center for Advanced Technology. We were under sanctions that time. Also Pokhran happened. I'm talking about late 90s now.
Right.
I joined Department of Atomic Energy. But having done that, I felt the urge now again to work with a more cutting edge technology. And I went to Oxford. I worked with a company called Oxford Instruments, which work on very high tech products, let's say MRI machine. And I was working on this MRI machine development jointly with Oxford Instruments and Siemens together. We did a good development, but I thought it was time to come back because my daughter was growing. I wanted to come back to India. And that time I gave a talk at IIT Bombay. And in 2005, I was called to work at IIT Bombay. So I joined as associate professor in mechanical department in 2005.
Right. Quite a Swades kind of a story, I think.
Absolutely. Almost 14 years of work after my PhD. And yes, what you said is absolutely right. So this
kind of story, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about one more thing. You became the PIC, the professor in charge of SINE very fast. So did you have that entrepreneurial bug always in your mind?
No. I mean, I was not an entrepreneur myself, but this is also a very interesting story. I joined in 2005. And that time, Dean faculty was Professor Khakkar. And suddenly one day in 2011, after 6 years, when I was busy with teaching because I had never done teaching earlier, I was spending a lot of time in basically guiding my PhD student, MTech student and teaching. And suddenly one day on a Saturday morning, I get a call from Professor Khakkar that, Milind, why don't you become PIC of SINE, PIC of SINE, professor in charge of SINE, which was shock to me.
Right.
Because that time I had never thought about taking any administrative role. Well, I was very busy with doing different projects, funded projects, guiding PhD students. And to be honest, I knew only the word called SINE, but I had never even entered SINE that time, till that time. And Professor Khakkar told me, I mean, this is a visionary statement, and it must have been Professor Khakkar and the team at IIT Bombay, which felt that because I have come from a corporate background, I could possibly serve SINE in the best possible manner. And I was really surprised. He gave me all the time. And that time, Professor Amarnath was the earlier professor in charge.
I see.
He was also from mechanical department. But then I took some time from him. I went to SINE to understand SINE, and then I was pretty impressed by what was happening, what was planned for SINE. And in a month's time, I told him that yes, I am ready to take over. And so around 2011 or 12, I took over as professor in charge of SINE. So this was a shock to me because nobody in 5 years, 6 years could take such a responsibility. SINE was booming up or sort of, just was settling also. But story of SINE was sort of in store for many years to come. And I could realize that, and I could see good professors, good students actually having startups down there.
So you signed up for the right thing, right?
Absolutely correct. Yeah.
Right. So the early days of incubation at that point of time, as far as I have an idea, of course, I was pretty young back then, incubators were not the game, right? So what were your first thoughts about SINE, about incubation as an ecosystem? Do you feel it was a great idea? Was it just another, initiative by the government which would just die off? What were your thoughts?
No, I will not say that. But yes, what you said, incubators were known only in the medical terms. For the babies, who are just sort of first born like that. And the VCs were never venture capitalists. They were always vice chancellors. So these two words were absolutely new on an academic institute, I should say. But when I went to SINE and I saw the atmosphere in SINE, it showed me a very big activity happening down there. Away from, let's say, academic atmosphere that we have at IIT campus, research atmosphere, academics, professors, students, PhD students. In the hostel, you got a lot of activities happening down there. But in academic area, you will not see so many activities happening down there, which I noticed in SINE. Because when youngsters and the students who are working in SINE companies and the employees, of course, and I found a lot of movement. Let me tell you, that time only 5 or 6 persons were there who will managing the entire SINE show. Today we have got almost 35 to 40 people who are working with SINE. If I could remember, Poini was there, CEO Sushant Mitra was there that time. Then Krishnaveni, I remember, she was there, very much there. And Prasad was there. And maybe 1 or 2 more possibly. But we were 4 or 5 or 6 who were managing the entire show. And there were companies that time, if I could remember, called Sedimac, Professor Shashikant Suryanarayan from Mechanical Department. There was a company called GS Numerics, right, which was from Professor Chevery from Aeronautics Department. And other than that, we had some few startups, but they were all of IIT Bombay students and faculty members, or there could be alumni also. So initially, SINE was open only to faculty members of IIT Bombay, students of IIT Bombay, and alumni of IIT Bombay. They need to be the founders or co-founders, and it was not open to anybody else that time. So that was the initial story, I should say. But Sushant Mitra, who was the CEO then, resigned within 6 months, and he started his own angel fund and all that thing. So in effect, Poini Bhatt was the person who took everything, and I will give great credit to Poini because what you see today SINE was very much to do with what Poini did to SINE for last almost 20 years. So she was the one who has seen SINE getting born, in the young days, and of course now
getting up on its feet and running.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. So, sir, who helped you set up SINE? Like setting up something like an incubator. You talked about, VCs being more of vice chancellors and not venture capitalists, right? So these things require a lot of fund. So did you have your bad days where, making ends meet as an incubator was an issue, or was it a smoother ride for you all?
See, first of all, it was IIT Bombay's baby. So IIT Bombay was a big enough institute to support SINE. when it was decided SINE was needed. And yes, in those days, we have just started talking about startups. Of course, having a startup was not so much fashionable, but still startup word was known. But there were not so many funds. But then DST gave us a lot of funds. So that was the first initiation that happened from DST. And of course, IIT Bombay also supported. There were good board members also. For example, I remember Ashank Desai, who was a Mastech chairman. Then I remember our alum, Deepak Satawalekar, who recently has funded a laboratory at IIT Bombay. Then Praveen Bhai was there. With them, these people were pretty experienced because Ashank himself was an entrepreneur. Both Mr. Satawalekar and Praveen Bhai, they were the supporters, and actually Praveen Bhai was giving money also in that time. He was in the funding of startups.
Right.
But DST gave us a good amount of fund, and therefore I should not say that SINE ever had to worry about having two ends meet. We were really that way well placed. But giving good startup grants, seed grant to the companies, etc., was not so much possible.
Right.
When the companies came, we were initially open only for a product-centric idea and also for those who had IP in that sector. So I think that way we got sort of limited to saying that we wanted only product-based thing. But nevertheless, we started growing. What also was sort of limiting factor was the space then. We had a very small space, maybe 5,000 to 6,000 square feet. And then we could have only 10 to 12 startups, etc., etc. So there were problems of that kind. Nevertheless, the company that we had a good IP, good product, and today you can see Sedimac, Idea Forge, where have they gone? It was all sort of incubated in those first 5 or 6 years of SINE. Actually.
Right. So let me throw you a googly now. So what are your thoughts? Did SINE succeed because of IIT Bombay's reputation? Or did IIT Bombay's reputation enhance because of SINE being involved with them?
Well,
I want your honest opinion on this.
Well, I will not sort of keep SINE away from IIT Bombay or IIT Bombay away from SINE. It was IIT Bombay's idea, Professor Phatak's idea, and of course he was IIT Bombay's professor. It was IIT Bombay who thought of having such a SINE as an incubator, and Professor Ashok Mishra, who was the director also, thought about having SINE as an incubator and on the campus of IIT Bombay. So SINE actually essentially becomes a part of our ecosystem for startups, which is very important. The ecosystem is very, very important. So I should not take SINE away from IIT Bombay. SINE was made as a separate company or a separate society only because it doesn't have to depend on sometimes the bureaucracy that IIT Bombay comes up with. Because IIT Bombay is a Government of India institute, and we have to manage by Government of India. If I want to buy something, I have to take quotations and so forth. Sometimes it can be very time taking. But then we want to simplify things for SINE. Sometimes the salary structures can be made more encouraging for SINE employees. And naturally IIT Bombay is a government sector. They will get increment and all that thing. But we wanted to have performance-based index, so on and so forth. All these things can happen only when you have a separate society. So I should not sort of, today on the campus of IIT Bombay, we have got 6 or 7 companies sitting.
Yes.
But they are also meant to execute certain functions from IIT Bombay. So all these companies have come with a specific purpose, and so was SINE then.
Right.
And I think both of them sort of give value to each other. SINE actually goes with IIT Bombay, and IIT Bombay is very proud to have SINE as an incubator that it has come up today.
Right. You handled the googly well. Did put it out for a 6. So we all know about the agility that led to startups like IdeaForge, ImmunoAct, Gupshup, etc. But tell us about those that got away. I'm sure there are some cases where you were, if I had put some money or if we had got them incubated, maybe, we would have ridden that wave.
Yeah, I think the answer, what I just said, that we were more product-centric in the beginning. And we wanted to have kind of deep tech ideas and more IP oriented and more product centric. Nevertheless, I have, I would be open for having even service based startups also. And because of this initial insistence of having product based startups, and that could also be because we were limited by space. We missed Ola, for example, and Ola would
That's
have
quite
made,
a big miss.
So Ola Bhavish was our student in 2011 and 12, and he could have very much possibly to SINE. And also housing.com, if you remember, that also was a big name. And these are our students who actually came right across IIT Bombay. They could have possibly be incubated at SINE also. So both of them were sort of service sector, and I think we missed on them, having them. I'm sure Ola would have given us a lot of money if we had invested in them that time.
Yeah. So speaking about SINE helping out, different kind of startups with money, with mentorship and other things, industry connects and all, right? But every incubator claims that we give things beyond money, right? So can you give us some instances where SINE's intervention helped a company turn its fortune around?
Well, I think there could be various stories, but more importantly, I'll tell you a story about one company where I personally played some role, and of course SINE played the second role. If you know the name of a person called Saket Modi,
yes,
a company called Lycidius then, and now it is called as Safe Security.
Yeah.
So I had gone to represent IIT Bombay in Vice Chancellor's Conference in Ahmedabad, in Gandhinagar. And I remember Saket gave a fantastic, very impressive presentation on security related thing. And he was just 19 or 20 then. He had not possibly even graduated at that time. And when I saw his presentation, his style of presentation, the personality that he had, I was pretty impressed. And destiny, as you can say, possibly we met at the airport while returning when I was coming back. And I met Saket at the airport. And I talked to Saket that time and told him to come to SINE and meet me. And he did come. And he was, and I told him that the kind of technology you have, I'm sure IIT Bombay will serve you better, and SINE will serve you better. And Saket understood what it is in store for him. He did come to SINE. And that time the rule was we were not allowing anybody other than IIT Bombay alumni or student.
Oh.
And Saket wasn't our student. But I could see the power, the kind of IP that he had.
Right.
And the kind of, I should say, entrepreneurial risk-taking ability that he had. That he will definitely make big out of these things. And so it happened. So Saket joined us maybe 2012 or 13 at the company called Lycidius then. But within no time we could understand. Initially he was actually offering some training related to security, so on and so forth. But we insisted on having him as a product, coming up with a product which would serve very well for the cyber security. I think something called Safe was his product name, if I'm not sort of missing on this.
Okay.
And within no time, Saket started, accelerating his business across the banks, branches, etc., etc. And he did pretty well. Within some time, he had a company in Delhi where I visited his company in 2015 or 16 then. Almost 100 people were working. And today, Saket is sitting in US and New York, and his company is one of the possibly topmost company in the domain of cybersecurity. So very proud that Saket is today 30 or 35, but must have generated jobs for more than 1,000 people all across the world. But a small decision in that time to bring him to SINE, to bring him to IIT Bombay, could change the direction. Otherwise, possibly he would not have gone in a product area, but would have possibly continued. We cannot, of course, talk ifs and buts.
Right.
But that coming to this ecosystem, he could. We are still in touch.
Right.
And on and off we meet also, and he's trying to recruit people from IIT Bombay for his companies, and all these things are happening right now. So I think that was an intervention which was done at right place. Poini Bhatt was the person who also was guiding him later on. He also insisted on having him to pivot from training to
product side.
And that product thing that really worked very well for him.
So people always say that serendipity, destiny, things like that. But seeing you wear the pick hat even at an airport was something fabulous, and probably turned a budding entrepreneur into a seasoned entrepreneur. So that's something I believe, that if you take the initiative at the right time, things do change.
Yes, of course. And it's the flexibility of IIT Bombay system. Nobody said that you are breaking the rule or something like that.
Right. Which is difficult. I mean, in a bureaucratic system, it's very difficult
and
to do that.
Ultimately, entrepreneurship is for everybody. Why limit it to one? Is ultimately national need that we should create employment and jobs and so on and so forth. when we say talent, and it's our duty to grab that talent, bring him, give him proper ecosystem, and see him flourish through. That is what happened here basically. I can tell you other example. For example, Atomberg also had I remember 2 or 3 products before they finally settled down on the fan.
Okay.
BLDC motor. In fact, I bought one of the products, second or third product from them, which was a simple data acquisition system. I bought it because I thought if something goes wrong, I can call Manoj Meena anytime and get it repaired, for example, which he did actually. But over a period of time, look at where Atomberg is now. More than 500 people are working, and Atomberg fan is there everywhere now.
Yeah.
So the BLDC motor that he innovated that time is serving all the apparatus which work on motors now, and they're getting on mixer and other things also nowadays. So proper intervention, and I can give you a lot of example. For example, there was a company called MedPrime, then Care Mother. I could intervene and put them across. See, many times we saw that our students and professors cannot do marketing at all.
Yeah, that is
So
something I feel
instead,
a
if
lot.
I could wear hat of being a professor, you are noted, whatever you speak is taken seriously,
Right.
and at least the first door opens for them. The second door they have to open themselves. But I could actually at least open the first door. I remember in 2016 there was a magnetic Maharashtra. I think Maharashtra government had a big thing of magnetic Maharashtra. I was one of the juries that time. But very proudly I could see that 3 of our startup got the award that time.
Oh, wonderful.
Magnetic Maharashtra things, and top 2 or 3 came to SINE IIT company.
Right.
So that was great.
So you did take the name of Poini Bhatt ma'am and other colleagues of yours who helped you, really navigate the space much better, right? So when you came, you spoke about having 4 or 5, 6 people in your team. Did you have the confidence in that team that together you'll be able to, pull the weight and, make SINE something big? And also what kind of initiatives you, Poini ma'am, and other people in your team took which were really changing the landscape of SINE?
So I think, yes, in 2012 or 14, we started talking about Make in India also. So suddenly the atmosphere, towards startups also changed. And many of the students, I believe, then started knowing about incubation, startups. They wanted to work in startups. But what was not happening that time when I joined, SINE was not known so much to the students and to the professors also. So we actually started going to attend the DFMs, the departmental faculty meetings, from department to department, and we started talking about SINE to them.
Okay.
So that was a very big initiative, and slowly, SINE came into sort of mainstream IIT Bombay. Otherwise, IIT Bombay was known only for the research that they did and the students that they had, professors. But startups were not so much known because the kind of publicity that happened for, let's say, Idea Forge company or Sedimac, they were of course just taken off. They had not become so big then. But essentially, when we started talking to the professors, going to different departments, we could see more and more students and professors started turning to SINE. Also, we talked about having pre-incubation program then. With this also came, Nidhi Prayas schemes of DST, wherein we could support some startups by giving some 10 lakhs initially, so on and so forth. So a lot of students and professors started find a good value in that thing. But more importantly, if I go to a little bit ahead, 2016, we had a fan meeting, faculty alumni network, which was centered around entrepreneurship only. And this meeting happened in University of Washington, St. Louis, where I could take 6 companies from SINE. That time it was a very big thing, and I insisted to Professor Khakkar that let me take six companies and let them pitch in front of the investors down there.
Wonderful.
And most of the investors could be alumni of IIT Bombay or even local.
Right.
And I took that time, if I remember, a company called Seclor, then Saket, is Lucidius company, iGrain Energy, then Sedimac. I don't remember 5th and 6th, but this is what 4 or 5 companies we took. And at least 2 or 3 of them got a fantastic funding possibilities down there also.
Wow.
So that time, for the first time, our alumni could see startups from IIT Bombay, and they could see how deep tech they were. So till that time, they were not sort of, sometimes they see that it's a kind of a platform company, like a, something you
SaaS
order
kind
and
of a thing. Yeah.
SaaS kind of a thing,
Yeah.
or a medical app or some app kind of a thing.
Right.
But when they could see products of this stature,
That really adds
they
the
were
value.
really encouraged to look at SINE and startup and IIT Bombay to see in a very different way also.
Say. So, sir, since you didn't come from a background of entrepreneurship, did you and the team take some initiatives to upskill yourself in some way, maybe take some programs, maybe become more competent at that?
Well, I will now switch a little bit gear. At the same time, 2015, we found that our students are really not sort of geared up towards pitching.
Yeah.
They don't know how to pitch.
Right.
They don't know how to present. They don't know how to make slides, for example. And none of them possibly knew how to talk about the product in 1 or 2 minutes. They didn't know about IP. They didn't know about venture creation, marketing, so on and so forth. And now I will refer to Professor Kusre, who was then the e-sale in charge and a professor in our School of Management. And two of us came together.
You have a School of Management as well?
Yes, IIT has a School of Management, Shailesh Mehta School of Management, where not of focus, of course, is given on entrepreneurship, but we have not seen many entrepreneurs coming from that place, except Professor Sonar, who had a company then. But Professor Kusre, who and myself, we thought about having a DS School for Entrepreneurship. So School of Entrepreneurship actually came into existence in 2015 with Bharat Desai as an alum who actually donated fund for this. So it's called Desai Sethi School for Entrepreneurship,
DSSE.
where we thought, DS School for Entrepreneurship, where we thought that our undergraduate students should be exposed to entrepreneurship.
Wow.
And then we started having a minor degree program in School for Entrepreneurship. And now you talked about, did we undergo training? Yes, we did. Myself, Professor Kusre, and even Poini, we did a 2 weeks course at Stanford University.
Which year would that be,
This
sir?
will be around 2015,
Wow.
14-15.
Wow.
So we actually spent 2 weeks at Stanford University to understand how to teach entrepreneurship. Because till that time, nobody in India was teaching entrepreneurship. We're talking about big entrepreneurs, having to learn their story, their experiences, their leadership, etc., etc. But we never knew how to teach entrepreneurship. We thought, is entrepreneurship by DNA only? Or
Right.
can it be taught?
Right.
So what kind of value that you can add
Right.
to somebody who also is a deep tech thinker? So there we understood how to teach entrepreneurship. So actually a course that happens there called Faculty Fellow Program.
Oh,
This
I
is
see.
what we actually underwent, and we could meet many people from other parts of the world. It was sort of 20 or 25 faculty members were attending this course all around
It's
the
a
world.
global
It's a global program, and it happens every year still. And having come back there, actually we could formulate, and Professor Kusre, I will give all the credit to Professor Kusre, who actually could understand. And in fact, we visited then NUS also. We visited then Finland also. We visited then ETH also to understand how this is taught. We actually attended a symposium on entrepreneurship, which is actually conducted by Deshpande, if you know Gururaj Deshpande.
Yes.
It was the University of Massachusetts where such symposiums happen. Deshpande Symposium they are called as. We attended all these things. They gave a lot of inputs to us. And every time we used to come back very motivated, and we introduced course. We actually recruited people. And today you see the DS School for Entrepreneurship buzzing with so many ideas
Right.
and so many students. Now we got almost 10 years over. But two of us really took hard pains to see it come through. What courses could be taught, what syllabus should be there, who will teach these courses, so on and so forth. A lot of thought processes had gone. A lot of change of courses, professors, recruitment happened. And today we have got 6 or 7 even PhD students who are actually doing their PhD in entrepreneurship courses.
Wow.
So it's a very big change that happened on the campus. IIT Bombay was the first IIT which started teaching of entrepreneurship, although it is a minor course still. But it's very popular among the students. And I see every year 250, 300 students actually attending these courses now.
Quite a journey. I would also like to know about some collaborations that you had with industry, international collaborations, maybe some kind of peer learning.
So very importantly, around 2016, we started an accelerator. And this accelerator was DST funded and Intel as a partner. So Intel came with the mentorship, Intel came with domain knowledge, and SINE came as an execution that happened from SINE. So it was SINE, DST, and Intel which came together. And this was called as plug-in program, plug-in as an accelerator, where we will call, let's say, all healthcare or any vertical kind of a thing. And it used to be always at IIT Bombay for some time, in Mumbai for some time, and then it will be in Bangalore for other 1 or 2 months down there. So it was an accelerator program which was very, very nicely received by a lot of people, and actually that fed us to see that can we have such successful program with other countries also, which actually gave us an impetus to understand some best practices in the world.
Right.
Then came the program from Switzerland called Swiss Next program, and again students from the startups from India, and SINE was chosen as the place where we could select these people. So SINE used to give this call, do the selection, and these startups then would spend some time learning when they will go to Switzerland. So some best practices came out of that thing. At the same time, SINE started working with other incubators also. We became a party to all the incubators association that we have in India, and SINE started interacting more and more with other incubators also. So there came collaborations. There came possibility of understanding from where the funding can happen. So we had SIDBI, we had other angel networks. We started interacting more and more with alumni. I remember an experiment which we had done of calling some alumni together called I Ascend.
Okay.
It was actually in 2014 or 15 when we called almost 100 to 200 alumni of IIT Bombay who actually came over. We had a one-day event wherein they could see a possibility of funding our alumni, our startups.
Yeah.
Which actually could not pursue later, but actually at least the thought processes had started then.
Right.
In what way? Alumni, of course, can be mentor, but we wanted to see how can they be funding our startups.
Right.
So these are the experiments that we did. Plugin went on for almost 6 or 7 years after that, and then possibly for some reason it couldn't continue. DST also had different change of plans, but then the biggest collaborations or biggest funding that came from DST. And then DST told us that, look, you cannot be only inwardly looking now.
Yeah.
You can't be only look at IIT Bombay, because the nation building will happen not only from IIT Bombay, but we have so many other innovators sitting outside.
Absolutely.
Which require funding, which require mentors from IIT Bombay. And they gave us a lot of funds, almost of the order of 50 to 60 crore. I don't remember the exact amount right now. But the funds were actually, given also for building. So one of the restricting part for SINE was the space. And in order to multiply, we allowed a virtual incubation also. That means you need not be physically incubated in SINE.
Okay.
But even if you are virtually incubated, you could possibly be in Pune or you could possibly in Mumbai itself. But your umbilical cord will be at SINE, so that you can, attend all the functions happening in IIT Bombay. You can meet all the mentors. You can actually have access to all the funding possibilities, etc., etc. But you will not be physically incubated because we were limited by space. In fact, today also IIT Bombay is very much limited by space. But because of DST's intervention, that we got additional funds and we could have a building or a center of excellence for incubation purpose. And now the building that you see is really a contribution that came from DST. But because of this, we were open to everybody. As a rule from DST, now the good talent from outside also can come. Good talent sitting down in other IITs, NITs, other government colleges can actually come to IIT Bombay.
A lot of inclusion activity going on.
So
now.
yes, so that changed the entire scenario. We had a bigger top of the funnel.
Right.
Of course, the selection criteria as IIT Bombay, we want to see the IP, we want to see the kind of innovation, we want to see the MVP that is done by these people, these kids, and then only it gets through. And ultimately, we need board approval also to present all these things. So yes, interventions did happen. International, we had a visit to Russia to understand their incubator. It was again funded by DST. So Swiss Next, DST, Russia, plug-in programs were all the kind of collaborative programs, I should say, that actually gave a big impetus and acceleration to the incubation program.
Right. So I see a lot of passion in you when you talk about your stories of Saket Modi, of Atomberg and other startups. So how emotionally connected were you with these startups, and how did this journey of being the PIC of SINE change you as a person?
So, because I came from a background of a corporate world and I knew the startups existing elsewhere also, it was a new experiment at IIT Bombay. It was never there when I was a student at IIT Bombay, right? But to be honest, because we are sort of limited by space, I knew each and every company. Literally, I knew each and every company. I still remember the order, their rooms were in front of my eyes, I can see. And I knew almost each founder member and possibly the employees working in those companies there. So actually, I could connect with each of them, for example, starting from MedPrime, Care Mother, Emery. Then if I go to see Sensible, then I can remember the company which was meant for the blind people, Innovision. Then was iGrain Energy. Then the company by Jayamrug. Now I don't remember the name of the company. But I remember all this company and therefore many of the employees working with them. As I said, I could do the first door opening for many of these company, connect them to right professors in IIT Bombay so that they can get advice from these professors also. Possibly have interns working with them, connect them to government. All these things were possible because anybody could approach me that time. Anybody could walk into my office. And that was my role as a PIC of SINE. At the same time, I thought the bonding was very important. They should feel confident to come to the professor because there was a big stigma of being a professor and not non-approachability also, which I think need not be there, especially when you're in entrepreneurship world. So they could approach me, they could discuss my case, they could discuss their problems with me. If they require certain connects from me with professors or money, funding, whatever, I could try to help them. And I started, a lot of people were becoming so cozy in SINE that they never wanted to leave also many times. But that means there's a big waiting queue also outside, which was possibly not, given more attention to. But then we started, those who wanted to graduate and go down, we wanted to celebrate that thing. So we started, celebration of the people
that's
saying
quite
bye-bye,
an initiative.
kind of a send off. And that used to be a very emotional thing also, that these people who were here for 2 or 3 years are now leaving us. And everybody would dream that one day such a send off will be arranged for me also. I'll become so big that, I will have an office outside.
Right.
So that time, started playing role. We used to cut a good cake and have some food. And then SINE also, I believe, I think we had started having picnics, more picnics, so that, we get bonded very well.
Right.
By that time, we had grown from, 5 or 10 to 20-ish kind of a thing also. So there were different programs of government, DST, for example, which actually were going through SINE. We were the sort of coordinating partner for Government of India. And so number started increasing. We wanted to do good bonding around us also. So that actually played a very important role in these relationships. I still am attached to those startups and I know each of them literally by name. And they are also in touch with me right now.
It's good to hear. So, Professor, we talk a lot about Make in India, progressing to a $10 trillion economy. So much buzz is there, right? But in reality, we see that there is something which is missing. We are still a service-heavy and agriculture-heavy economy, right? So do you think India needs professors to step up, to convert their IP and research into startups, into tangible products that can help us accelerate this journey?
See, we need a good research. Why IIT Bombay is sort of successful in having these startups is basically because of the research atmosphere on the campus. So for any successful startup in a deep tech thing, the research has to happen. So professors are needed for research, and I don't expect professors to become the businessman. Very few examples you'll find that the professors are so all best entrepreneur. And I'll mention Professor Shashikant Suryanarayan only, whom I will say the only professor I've seen right now, who was both a good researcher as well as a good entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But 99% will not be. So I would still want professors to work in the laboratories, to generate IP, to do the research, but the students of the professors, the PhD student, the master students are the one who will actually take the pain of taking from lab to research to the
eventually
market,
the product.
market.
Yeah.
So this is where I believe the professors and student is a good team. Professor, of course, should become the founder, co-founder, but the driving factor, the driving people should be the students, MTech student, the PhD student, and sometimes the BTech students also. Yes, from that point of view, I would like professors to be given the best possible research opportunity, research infrastructure, so that they work on better and better, research required in the Indian context. For example, right now I see quantum, hydrogen, electric vehicle, batteries are the vertical that everybody would like to work upon. But then this need not be remaining only in the lab. This should come out, and therefore we need to have more and more PhD students, postdoc students, MTech students to come and join for this. And that's where the DS school plays a very important role of sowing these seeds, teaching them about entrepreneurship. And one day I'm sure that every student should dream of becoming an entrepreneur, possibly with the professor giving the back-end support. So professor should continue doing the research work in the laboratory, because every product have to have version number 2, version number 3 also.
Right.
And therefore he should continue to do that thing. But then the PhD student and the master student should be the one who should continue to become,
take it forward.
Take it ahead.
Yeah. Do you feel it is more like a time commitment issue for the professors because they have to teach, there is research, there's entrepreneurship, or do you feel that there is a gap in the thinking ability, in terms of switching from being a professor to an entrepreneur? Where do you feel is the issue?
So for sure, those who are coming to teach at IIT Bombay, they are at an age of, they have already done PhD, 3 or 4 years of post-PhD also. So they're at an age of, let's say, 30 to 35. I say 35 to 40 also. So they have come to India. They have returned possibly 60-70% of them come from abroad. And they have come here for the love of teaching and research.
Right.
Very few will come just to become an entrepreneur. And few will dream that, they become entrepreneur the following years. It is here that they have come for teaching and research. And they had possibly never thought about becoming an entrepreneur. But when they find that the work that I am doing has a demand outside, there is a society who is waiting for such a product.
Right.
Then come the, this
that switch kind of a thing.
This kid of what you call as entrepreneurship. And when I see colleagues becoming entrepreneur, naturally the system starts moving in that direction.
Right.
So it's like Stanford, basically, where 60% professors are, entrepreneurs.
Right.
Here also now I think around 70-75 professors are entrepreneurs. And when I become entrepreneur, my teaching becomes better also. My teaching becomes more applied.
Practical.
And students also, try to learn more and more fundamentals. With the fundamental knowledge, they get applied knowledge also. So my PhD topic changes, my MTech topic changes, right? So becoming an entrepreneur need not be that I do a fantastic business or, I understand everything about the funding, etc., etc. But my thinking changes. My research problems change, So all these things give a good impetus. So I think we want more and more professors to come to do research. But at the same time, I would like to have that urge in them that my research should not be remaining in a laboratory. It should go out in the form of a startup, or it should be licensed to the industry outside market.
Right.
So this is what every professor should think of. No research should be a cozy research because I can publish in that. But it should be absolutely, required research, relevant today's time, and possibly either end up in a startup or in a licensing.
I'm glad you took up that word cozy research, because I feel that there's a lot of academic, pressure from their peers to publish more and more papers. And that has somewhere diluted the quality of work, the way of thinking towards a certain thing. What are your thoughts on that?
I will not say diluted, but yes, at least the professors in IIT Bombay, because when they go for promotions, they have to, have some publications, but that too in quality journals, So quality is always maintained. But yes, everybody understand that I require to have PhD students, I require to have publications. These are the requirement. I should have taught so many courses. These are the requirement that a professor is expected to do when he or she comes for the next promotion. But I will not say that becoming diluted. But yes, initially as an assistant professor or associate professor, I would not like professors to think about becoming an entrepreneur. They can start thinking about becoming an entrepreneur.
Right.
But I will say at least they should see that the work that they are doing or the research that they are doing is relevant research that is needed right now.
Right.
That kind of a thing. So cozy research, I said, is having no relevance outside, but I can publish.
Right.
That need not be the criteria today.
Fair. So I feel that professors are trained to be more cautious, be very methodical in their work. They take a line and walk that line, right? And in terms of a founder mindset, it is more fast-paced, immediate, decision making, taking bigger bets. Have you seen some good stories where somebody is able to make that transition from being a very methodical, cautious mindset to a high agency entrepreneurial mindset?
Yeah, not many, I should say. I got 2 or 3 professors, and as one name I have already taken,
Yes.
Professor Shashikant Suryanarayan. The second name I will take is Professor Rahul Purwar, who has a company called ImmunoAct.
Yeah.
And it has become a very big company now. They are the CAR T cell cancer to take care of blood cancer. And they are now sort of enhancing that for other organs also.
Right.
That has already been sort of dedicated to Government of India. President was here. Around 250-300 people are working in his company. And it took almost 6 to 7 years for him to get the company where it was. So in 2018, when I was the professor in charge of SINE, I had signed that document when ImmunoAct got formed.
I see.
But when I was Dean R&D, I actually helped him to start, thinking about new technology and new research work also.
Right.
I will not say Professor Rahul Purwar is he's a researcher. He's not a real entrepreneur, I should say. But then he's supported with the right people.
Right.
Professor Shashikant Suryanarayan, however, had both attributes, I should say, as a researcher as well as an entrepreneur. And many professors will not have those things. So very few example I will give you that those professors who can be good entrepreneur themselves. And I would not urge them to be, they are good at doing research. So I would like them to continue to do research only. And as I said, I would like them to come with next research version number 2 and version number 3. That is what is required in a company. And I would like their students, the PhD, the MTech student, or somebody new who is passionate about that product to come forward and take this business ahead, take this entrepreneurial venture ahead. Because you have to think at the same time. See, entrepreneurship is not a part-time business. I cannot think about teaching and guiding my PhD students along with worrying to give salaries to my staff.
Absolutely.
Right. So I don't want this to bother our faculty members. Let it be bothered by other co-founders who is the CEO, for example. But these people have to worry about the research problem they are working on, which eventually will help the company to take forward.
Right. So you spoke about the entrepreneur and the professor, having different kind of roles, different kind of things to worry about, right? So as Deputy Director of IIT, have you taken some initiatives to help the professors, wear both the hats together?
Yeah, so before I took over the hat of a Deputy Director, I was Dean R&D.
Yes.
And as Dean R&D, I could actually simplify a lot of policies. So startup policy was written that time.
I see.
Which is very important, which is on our website. And a lot other IITs and other NITs follow most of the startup policy. And the second thing is the IP policy. So IP policy is a very important that, when the work is carried at IIT Bombay, this IP will be transferred to their company, from IIT Bombay to their company. So what kind of equity holding, how much money transaction, because ultimately your IP are held by IIT Bombay. And there are different innovators who have worked in your laboratory. For example, students have worked, professors, colleagues have worked. How will they be benefited by this IP is translated to your company, is transferred to your company. So all these rules are very, very important.
Right.
There's a conflict of interest sometimes because I'm doing my work in my laboratory and then transferring this knowledge to my company. It has to go through a proper channel, right?
Right.
So all this policy of startups, all this policy of IP, etc., we could write during that time. And my experience of being the professor in charge of SINE really helped me that time. But then when I came from Dean R&D to Deputy Director, I could see that in a bigger sense now. And I thought, why not connect SINE as an incubator to international incubators? And there came, when last I visited to Monash University, with whom we give a joint PhD program, with whom we have a joint PhD program. I could connect the Monash incubator with SINE incubator could see that the innovators from both sides can actually have a soft landing.
Right.
Or they can use they can land in SINE and work from SINE if they want to come to India and see if their product can be sold.
Right.
Similarly, our incubators can go down and use Monash Incubator to Melbourne if they want to work in that area. For example, renewable is a very hot sector there. Critical material is a very important area. Hydrogen is a very important area where these startups can talk to each other.
Right.
And what is most important, I should say, in the last Dean's meeting, we have also taken the decision that people, the faculty member who would like to get into startups can actually go as taking sabbatical.
Oh.
Now, sabbatical leave of 1 year can be given after 8 years of service. That was till now was meant only for doing research or visiting some university and to write a book, for example. It was never meant to start your company, which is a commercial venture.
Isn't it counterproductive to you? Like
but
IIT's interest?
Yeah, but the whole thing was to convert my research for the society, So the objective is basically taking my research from laboratory to the market. And essentially now we have accepted that yes, you can, otherwise you have to go on and lean. Then you will not get salary from IIT Bombay also, and your company will not give you salary because it's a startup. It can't afford to give a start. So now this rule and the present director and the BOG have approved that the professors can go on a sabbatical and work in their company, which will be definitely very, very, positive, I think. And that is something I could do as a deputy director from this side.
Wonderful. So you also spoke about IIT as an ecosystem, sir. So what is the role that the alumni has played when it comes to encouraging the ecosystem of entrepreneurship inside IIT Bombay? The other day I was walking in the campus and I saw this EV powertrain lab by the 1973 batch. So can you share some stories about how entrepreneurs have been helped by the alumni?
Yeah. So very much. Of course, the alumni have played a huge role in IIT Bombay's. I'm also an alum of IIT Bombay, and so is our director also, Professor Kedare, also is an alum here. But very importantly, alumni have played a role in mentoring the startups, which was happening since 2010 or 12 onwards. But that was limited to sort of mentoring them and helping them in whatever way, whichever way it was possible. But now things are changed, and I will say in 3 ways, and it's all 3 ways basically more in sort of funding and mentoring also. So 1973 batch has come forward, 1970 batch has come, 73 batch has come to come with funds. For example, 1970 batch has come with a fund to be given to different startups coming out of from IIT Bombay.
I see.
Faculty startups coming from IIT Bombay. So they will visit the laboratory, see the functioning of that thing, decide whether they require funding and mentoring also. Can they help in any which way? Maybe in fabrication, maybe in connects, maybe in network, contact, etc., etc. And 1973 batch has come. They have funded a EV lab. So they believed that EV is the next segment.
Right.
So why not fund a lab and give infrastructure to this lab, and maybe startup will come from this lab, and so the fruits are started coming out of this lab. And now we got a project. Now we got a titanium program, which is again funded. This is the fund that has been created by alumni who given some funds, and specifically they will fund the companies of faculty members. They will see it closely. They will help them, and they will give to the tune of 50 lakhs.
Is it a non-dilutive kind of a fund?
I don't know the details of that right now, but then it will be sort of, it will be, the selection will be done by various faculty members sitting down. Some function will be sit down there. And to the tune of 50 lakh will be a good help. And more alumni can join this fund now. If they want to sort of help, then they can join the, funding. And now that we are coming with SINE own fund, we call IIT Bombay or SINE venture fund that is coming. Again, alumni will contribute to these funds, and literally some percentage, whenever the money is, some profits are made to this thing, some percentage of that will come to IIT Bombay.
I see.
So alumni are playing a role on almost everything. Of course, there are alumni sitting on our board, on various boards. Apart from that, however, they're coming with mentoring and giving money and giving funds in the form of VCs or angel or some funds like this.
So I see that IIT Bombay has covered the whole pie, whether it is pre-incubation, it is incubation. Now you talk about the venture arm, right?
Yeah.
Then there is Project Titanium helping out the professors. So that's quite a journey from Crescent to today. with the venture arm coming out. So it's a whole circle that you have completed.
Well, ultimately, all of us belong to IIT Bombay, network from SINE to, and now you have more and more companies coming forward. For example, now we've got Research Park on the campus.
Right.
And Research Park is a 13-story building, and there will be industries coming on the campus. And this industry will very closely watch the startups.
Right.
Because they are, the startups they become their customers, and they can get certain things done by the startups.
Right.
So this coexisting on the same campus,
right,
where the startups are also there, where the big industries are also there, and supported by that is all the entrepreneurial ecosystem of IIT Bombay. There are students who would like to work in the startup as interns, maybe in the research park, maybe in this industry. There could be funded projects coming from these industries to IIT Bombay. This all going to give a good innovation systems, supported with good funds. I'm sure it's a very, very healthy entrepreneurial-oriented ecosystem right now on the campus.
So being part of the venture arm myself, we see a lot of startups asking for collaboration with the industries in terms of, technical expertise or, maybe buying back their products. So what is your thought? Does that thing really take things forward for deep tech space in general?
So in addition to that, I should talk about, we are coming with a translational research center on the campus. It will be called as TRIST, wherein the TRL3 that is existing in somebody's laboratory, we would like to take it ahead. We would like to have engineers and PhDs who will be employed in this TRIST, and they will increase the TRL from 3 to 9.
Wow.
Or they will take problem statement from industries and deliver it to them like any other private company. So this is a very new initiative that we have taken now, and let's hope that we are successful in this. But yes, what you are saying is right. We would like to see more and more industry gets connected to a startup, because ultimately startups should rub their shoulders with the giants.
True.
And they should do the pilot with these industries, because ultimately these industries will be ruthless.
Right.
They will not allow to have any sort of inefficiencies.
David
involved.
Goliath kind of a problem.
And of course they have to deliver in time. Very importantly, the companies are not doing research anymore. They have to deliver in time.
Right.
And that is where they have to understand these professional things.
So we recently heard that IIT Bombay aims to support more than 1,000 startups in terms of incubation, right? Looking at the space constraint, looking at other 100 different issues in terms of, providing these facilities on the infra side, how do you envision this thing?
So two things. One is, of course, we would like to increase our capacity. So right now we have got around 60-70 companies being incubated. I'm thinking about can SINE 2 company come on the campus again. And director also feels the same. Maybe on the campus or off the campus, that is also possible. But very importantly now, we would like SINE to play a very important role as a hub. So SINE can actually become a hub, and we can have several spokes, let's say all around Maharashtra and slowly all around India also. For example, why not have a hub sitting in Aurangabad, in Nagpur, in Mumbai outside IIT Bombay, in Pune, for example, where SINE can have, let's say, co-SINE,
right,
or a TAN or whatever you call it
right,
as. But then we can have all these hubs, named after SINE or local, and alumni in that area can actually, support us doing that thing.
Fair.
We can have a connect with those people, and the incentive for those, you come to a level where, then you come to SINE IIT Bombay. So actually, become successful at local level. We'll of course give you all the training, all the benefits of being a SINE incubator, and they'll be called a SINE incubator also. But having done something good and then having some got funds and maybe pilots, they can then be brought at Mumbai also.
Right.
So that way we have, our arms can become longer and longer. And I'm sure we can therefore not get limited to only 100 sitting down here, but maybe 1,000 all around in Maharashtra and all around India. And I will, if I talk the 10 years dream, I would not like SINE to be limited to only India. Possibly SINE should have a presence both in US and Europe also. That could be futuristic.
Quite a bold vision you have, sir. So we recently, in the venture world, we hear about deep tech startups. The buzzword right now is deep tech, right? So what are your thoughts? Is it more like froth, or is there some real work being done in the deep tech sector?
No, see, we are doing fantastic work right now. Let's say we are getting a lot of funding in the quantum sector now. So quantum computing is now happening, and IIT Bombay has been recipient of big funds related to quantum sensing that has come to IIT Bombay. We are developing a lot of things in NLP and AI/ML, and we are developing our large language models ourselves, and I'm sure a lot of startup will come out of this. Third thing is semiconductors. So IIT Bombay has now taken semiconductor as a separate center, separate department to offer master's program and PhD, which was not there earlier.
Right.
We have just taken this decision in the last board meeting, and therefore we possibly will have to, we'll come with our own chip making, not only chip design, which we are good at right now, but if I want to millions of chips tomorrow, I don't have a facility of that stature in India. But then Tatas are coming with such possibilities.
Right.
Now this is where Tatas and IIT Bombay should come together, and this is what we have already started thinking about. And so are we thinking about our Bharat Gen program. Whether can we have Indian ChatGPT kind of a thing in different languages?
Right.
So there are translation, there's a Bhashini, all kinds of things happening right now in India. So I'll see electric vehicle, batteries,
AI being
quantum,
one.
AI/ML, digital healthcare. So healthcare is a very, very important thing right now, I believe. And then I talked about semiconductors. Maybe the next generation chips will start coming from India. And that is where we'll have to put a lot of investment. So when I say startup will come only when we got all this infrastructure being made
in
ready
place,
at IIT Bombay. So of course the funding is required in that direction. That is what is happening right now.
So India has around 4,000 deep tech startups, which are like 4% of our startup ecosystem. When you compare that to, let's say, China, who has around 18% of their startups in the deep tech system, what are the key steps that you feel can help bridge this?
I think they have done it in a completely different scale, and possibly the structures in both the countries are totally different. Whenever they are doing certain things, they do a massive investment in that area and massive facilities. Well, in Indian context, we do it at 2 or 3 places, but they possibly do it at 100 places. When we look at Indian context, we look at only IITs, but we don't look at all other institutions also where such things can happen. For example, this chip making facility, IIT Bombay is doing the training also, but then that could have been multiplied almost at all IITs, all NITs also. Of course, it requires a lot of investment. So I think China is really, in a different segment altogether. So I will not like to compare also that thing.
And talking about deep tech, sir, AI has been really disrupting the space, right? There's a lot of job loss happening here. Do you think this will help push the ecosystem towards entrepreneurship?
Oh, yes, positively. So similar thing, when I was learning, I was a student, that time it was thought that computer programming and computers are coming and this will sort of,
finish
jobs,
off.
the jobs will not be there and all that thing. And look where we are. So that time the language, the computer language Fortran was taught to us in the final year. And now we are teaching C++ right in the first year so that everybody understand programming. Similarly today, everybody should understand AI/ML. And that means that your knowledge of AI/ML and domain expertise will create more and more opportunities, more and more segments to open up. So AI/ML is a new skill now that had to be acquired. The way we acquired programming then came the CFD analysis. Today we have got AI/ML. So everybody has to understand the AI/ML fundamentals, how to use it. This is a training, this is a skilling now basically. But then I have to understand how the bridges are designed. I have to understand how the roads transportation happen, how the flyovers are made, how the machines are made, how the robots are moving. All this domain knowledge I have to have. Club that with AI/ML and my design can be perfected and possibly in time also. So these are going to be added tools and added skills.
I see. So in deep tech, sir, there's a lot of gestation period, right? The startup takes a very long time to, reiterate, find a PMF, go to market, right? So you have incubated all kinds of deep tech startups. So what is your philosophy when you look at a deep tech startup? What is your vision and thinking for it?
Yeah, absolutely correct. So I think yes, deep tech takes time, but then ImmunoAct, which has is a drug which has to go through all the compliances, which could come out within 7 or 8 years. which is not a very, very big time, I should say right now. This company like Sedimag or Atombug could come out with product in 4 or 5 years, right? So I think once you are in incubator, it will take very important is for a startup to have cash flow. I understand that thing because they have to give salary to people, they have to retain these people, they have to retain these talents. So you have to find some means of making money for first 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Where comes the investment? So it is very important that an incubator like SINE or investors understand what is going through this, and they have to be supported for 3 or 4 or 5 years. And they should understand the efficacy, the product that they are coming up with, and they need to be supported. And therefore, the roles of IITs and role of business incubator like SINE becomes very, very clear. They have to be able to nourish these people, incubate these people nicely, give them funding till the time they start become cash positive.
Right. But sir, my issue here is that even now in our society, success is measured by packages, by the company names and things
biggest
like
worry,
yeah. So what have you done, or IIT Bombay as an institute has done to discourage this thing, or maybe work around this thing, so that more and more people go into core, or more and more people get better exposure and not just run after names and packages?
Yeah, so unfortunately, yes, today also our success is measured by the kind of package that they get in the placement. But more importantly, I think the kind of admiration, the role models that we have created in terms of having startups that are really praiseworthy, I should say. And a lot of youngsters now look at people like Idea Forge and Atombug and these people very closely, and they cherish to become somebody like that.
Right.
So I think that has played a very important role, at least on the campus of IIT Bombay. But I realize IIT Bombay is an island. IIT Madras is only one island. There are several other IITs and NITs and government colleges where such students will be there. And unless all these things change, we cannot make a difference on a national level. IIT Bombay is lucky to be in Mumbai, I should say, to be lucky in this ecosystem that we have. But very importantly, the students should feel the idea of working in a startup,
right,
and possibly having a startup later as the first goal,
right,
as against making a lot of money by joining non-core company to begin with, possibly getting into consulting company, finance company, which can of course be a definitely value addition, but at some point in time they reach a peak.
Right.
While the domain knowledge, if you increase the domain knowledge, every year is going to give you better and better, make you expert in that.
It's more like a hockey stick curve.
Correct.
Right?
If you go and join that hockey stick, you become expert in that area.
Right,
So
right.
tomorrow, if you are in robotics, I know I should go to person A only.
Yeah.
So this, of course, starts with a low package initially, but as expertise grows, these are the people who actually will be known on a national level also.
Right.
And these are the people who actually mentor or start having a startup in this area. It requires some maturity and therefore role models in this area. And our seniors, our alumni telling them also becomes a very important thing. IIT Bombay is doing that thing very much right now. So IIT Bombay is doing changes in the way we teach. IIT Bombay is doing changes in which we would like these placements to happen, and we would like to have more and more students getting into internship. So the fact that they get into internship, they get attracted towards getting into core jobs. We are also getting more and more in international university collaborations, so that students at an early age is exposed to see what big can happen in this field. What can semiconductors do, right? What can robotics do? What can LLMs model can be developed, so on and so forth. So we would like our students to be retaining their core knowledge, but not to get into other direction just for the package.
Talking about the students, like brain drain has been a severe problem for the country for decades now. And now with AI, there is a lot of uncertainty, right? And then there is a push from the government side with huge amount of funding. I think 1 lakh crore has been marked for deep tech work, right? So how do you, if you were to draft out a plan, how do you reverse this brain drain and get this talent back into the right places to help expand the deep tech ecosystem?
So I'm not worried about brain drain so much right now, to be honest, because I'm in touch with all my students who are now sitting abroad and who would actually talk to me about what their plans would be and get connected with the batches down here. That is A. Second thing is today, wherever you are in the world, you can always have a company here in India also, and possibly you can take care of both the things. Number three will be, all these professors are returning. Most of these professors, or let's say 90% of these professors, at least to IITs, have definitely returned from different countries. That's a brain gain. But the fact that they come, that's a role model for many students they see.
Right.
And if I see the placement data today, I don't see more than 10% going abroad. There are a lot of students who would like to be in India right now. And possibly that is because the salary structure in India also has improved. That is A. And the startup culture that we have today in Indian context is possibly not anywhere. Of course, there is the Bay Area, there's some New York and Boston.
Right.
But what we have today is a fantastic startup culture right now. So I think that I will not worry about the brain drain. I mean, I would see that we are having a brain gain right now, and wherever you are, you can actually be here and there also. So that is again not a problem for me.
Right.
And when I see professors returning, professors are returning to do teaching and research and to become entrepreneur also. So yes, there are all the possibilities exist today.
Right. So what needs to change in the ecosystem of India? You talked about Bay Area, right? So is it about the funding part? Is it about the talent part? Is it about the market demand? Or you feel there is some hidden problem which is entirely overseen by the...
No, it's the ecosystem. It's the ecosystem that we should have. We should have research at the core of everything. We should have good teaching. Good teaching should happen at the core of everything. We would like to have students getting interested in doing research work, and we would like students to get interested in a startup world. So it's an ecosystem that IIT Bombay, for example, has, and every other IIT has, where all the students stay on the campus, where all the professors stay on the campus, and everybody actually work in the laboratory, be it Saturday, Sunday, or 24/7, especially the PhD students. So when the students see that my hostel mate has become an entrepreneur,
Right.
then he believes or she believes that I can also be. When I believe I can do good internship, he or she otherwise also would like to become good intern also. So when I see more and more students getting into internship, more and more students getting into solving real life problems, more and more professors getting into relevant research, I think that's the ecosystem. But for that ecosystem to happen, we should have industry connect, we should have relevant research being done, and we should have more and more infrastructure to be given to this.
Right.
So I think we'll have to work on these things, and the solution is not only should not exist only in IITs, but should exist in all the universities and maybe school level also. So there is a need to look at the school education system in a very close manner, where more and more hands-on training is given right now in as compared to the classroom learning.
So I'm glad that you spoke about this, because in our dream of a 10 trillion economy, deep tech takes a major, there's a hope around deep tech that, okay, the final hurdle will be crossed by some real good unicorns in the deep tech space. Are you bullish about this?
Well, I will not say unicorn exactly, but of course, in SINE, we have already had a unicorn coming out of this. But yes, I think in the time to come, the chips will start coming from India. I think the medical healthcare, the kind of population we have, the kind of data that we'll have, and the digital healthcare that we are all coming up with, we'll have definitely, and I believe medical healthcare is the priority for India when we got so much of population, when we got so much of diseases happening down here, and when we have got AI ML coming in a big way in Indian context, digital healthcare becomes very important. Very important in digital healthcare. IIT Bombay, as you know, we got a digital healthcare KCDH Center for Digital Healthcare, and most of the startups I see, which are in SINE, are towards healthcare related.
Right.
Maybe the professors and the students are coming from mechanical department, civil department, chemical department, right? But they are, most of the time I see that their work is getting geared towards healthcare.
Right.
And in Indian context, the healthcare has to be innovative, but also has to be cost effective, very importantly.
Right.
So if you go in the countries like, US or UK, for example, your waiting time to do an MRI could be as long as 1 month.
Yeah.
While here, the next day you can do in a government hospital also.
Which is a huge delta which people absolutely miss out on.
Absolutely. But then still we got a number of diseases increasing and, epidemics still are there. And can that be answered? There's a project going on in IIT Bombay, for example, on disease modeling. Can we understand in the circumstances that people live, which kind of disease will be more predominant? Can we start taking care of such things right in advance?
Right.
Can I understand with AI ML that cancer is a big thing, diabetes is a very big thing.
Right.
Can we find measures to avoid such things by using the data model that we have?
Right.
So the kind of data that we are sitting on is a gold mine basically. Nobody has such data.
Right.
So I'm sure a lot of answers can possibly be given if one does a good scientific study sitting on this data mine.
Right. Actually, I was speaking to one of the senior professors at IIT. He had a vision that IIT Bombay should have a college for medical science. So his vision was basically there should be a marriage between the engineers and the doctors, which can lead us to get the best kind of engineering products.
Well, it's good that you asked this question to me. We are coming with something called medical engineering now, or a medical technology, and right from this December.
Oh, wonderful.
So the first, the PhD students will be taken right in December, and possibly master's program will happen from next June, as early as next June.
Wonderful.
So yes, we want to have clinicians coming with engineers. The clinicians are the people who are actually conducting, looking at patient, doing surgery, and here are the engineers. Depending on the input that we get from this clinician, can I develop a technology? Can I develop a product? Can I develop a tool? For example, robotic surgery.
Yeah.
Can I understand how a robot can possibly be developed so that we can help them? Can I possibly have something related to my legs, amputees and all that thing? So prosthetics play a very important role. I can possibly use a 3D printing in a much better way to develop a proper prosthetic arm or a leg or whatever. Or a hip replacement can be done in much better way using the engineering knowledge. Image processing, there are so many technologies that we can develop today.
True.
But I need to have clinicians sitting with a medical doctor sitting with the engineering doctor together.
Right.
Then only. So IIT Bombay is very much going into that thing. We are not thinking of going for undergraduate exams, education right now, but definitely MTech PhD, MD PhD, and we are trying to collaborate with, let's say, university like AIMS, for example. In fact, Stanford University also has shown interest to club with us.
Okay.
And we are trying to evaluate different possibilities wherein we can land up in win-win situation.
That's something really nice to hear. What are your predictions about SINE by 2040? Let's say there's a hypothetical situation. Do you see SINE in the same light as a Y Combinator, or let's say a Harvard or a Stanford of the US, something similar to that in terms of the ecosystem as far as entrepreneurship is concerned?
So I think SINE, of course, had made its signature right now, has made the signature right now, but SINE should be almost in every district in India, definitely in Maharashtra. And as I said, SINE should reach out to 1,000 startups. SINE should be a dream for many. The way IIT Bombay cannot, I see IIT Bombay cannot be attended by everybody and each person right now here, but coming to SINE for an entrepreneur should be made as easy as possible, because we don't want to judge you by your economic background, for example. We don't want to see if you got a JEE Advanced, JEE, whether you're a first class or whatever. We don't want to see your percentage at all, at any level. We want to say whether you have got innovation mindset or not. Come with innovation, develop a workable model, and we can judge you by that thing. We would like to club you with other people. So we want just the innovators. We want a person who sees an opportunity in everyday problems and find a solution to that thing.
Right.
So we would like to see such people. So tomorrow SINE, if not IIT Bombay, SINE should be available to everybody. IIT Bombay right now is available to JEE Advanced only, right? So I would like SINE to be available to every innovator sitting down wherever they are. You can possibly be in Kolkata, but you can be in a SINE arm sitting in Kolkata.
Right.
You can possibly be in Delhi or in Chennai or in other places. I would like to have a SINE arm sitting down there to help him or her to come up with a MVP product and then come to SINE IIT Bombay.
Right.
So this route to come to IIT Bombay is only through innovation.
Right.
Show us your innovation. Of course, we would like to limit it to deep tech technology, but not limiting to India. I would like it to sort of go around in, let's say, for South Asian region also, because I believe there's a huge talent sitting down there.
On that note, sir, China recently started a program wherein they are asking global talent to come to China, especially with whatever is happening in the US,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So do you believe that SINE can do the same thing wherein we can attract global talent to come with their IPs to help them build a startup, or even professors for that matter?
We would definitely strive to do that thing. In fact, right now we are the president for South Asian universities, and they'll be coming to IIT Bombay in the month of November and February, where again we'll show SINE and what we are doing. So we would like to really look at these countries very closely, like Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia. But tomorrow I will not limit to even South Asian countries. I would like to really go outside. As I said, in US, in Europe. Japan is looking at India in a very positive way, and they would like to work with us very, very closely. So SINE should be approachable by anybody who has got this innovative mindset. They need not speak good English, not a problem. English is not a measure of intelligence at all. They should realize there is opportunity and they should come up with a solution. This solution can be in agro-technology, this could be in drones, it could be in robots, it could be in a small health tech, it could be a social venture, no problem with that thing also. As long as it makes an impact the lives of others and so many, I think SINE will welcome those things. So SINE should be a really a place which is available to all the innovators.
Right. They say that fake it till you make it, right? So in terms of SINE, what would you want SINE to look like, let's say 10 to 15 years from now?
Well, as I said, SINE is the place for innovators to go. I should say that thing. I would like our own students, let's say if I talk to IIT Bombay, I would like our students to wait for placements to happen. I would like each and every student to first get into this startup mode, and they should create the jobs. Definitely IIT Bombay education, as I say, is absolutely subsidized education. It's by taxpayers. All the students of IIT Bombay, including BTechs and MTechs and PhD, should have a startup, create job for many in India and possibly go abroad and create their companies abroad. So they should, as the first priority, they should go into startup. I think that will be, we are sitting in a campus which has got so many things happening down there.
Right.
The minimum expectation for me, not to wait for a placement to happen, but to create placement for others.
Right. On that note, sir, how has teaching changed in the world of AI? Have things become too fast, too furious? Because there's a lot of decreasing attention span in people. There's a lack of focus,
absolutely,
right? So do you think there's a need for a renewed way of teaching where optimizations can be done in how you teach to the students?
So these are the changes which are happening very fast. In the Reels, today everybody wants to see Reels for 2 minutes and 3 minutes.
Right.
Our director has actually formed a committee, which is called as TLA committee.
Okay.
Teaching, learning and assessment. So we are actually relooking at how to teach, how to learn and how to assess them. Because when I'm teaching, all my 42 lectures are available. Recorded lectures are available.
Right.
Then what should I teach in a classroom? The students get bored within 10 minutes because they say whatever you are speaking is available in a video. What is different?
Right.
So now we are actually making a new experiments of how to teach in a renewed way, wherein we believe that there are different ways of, can I do an experiment in a class? Can I have more and more groups learning together? And possibly they are asking me question now, So there is no need to teach, the same slides which are already there.
Right.
But can I, change the course the way I teach now? Can I change that thing? Can I have 4 different students coming together, throw one problem to them and, ask questions among themselves? Can I ask them to come prepared, let them see my video first and then discuss those questions only in my next classroom, so that everybody hears them out. So the changes are happening very much In fact, after doing the first year now, 60 professors have started teaching in a different way at IIT Bombay right now.
Okay.
And the learning from these 60 professors, next year we'll have 120 professors taking up, and possibly, relearning from them.
Right.
How to conduct tests, what kind of questions could be asked. Can I have more and more, one-to-one questions? Can I have more and more students helping them to learn in the classroom,
in a
that kind of a thing.
collaborative kind of a
So
situation.
it's more a collaborative learning ways right now, and more emphasis is given not in terms of marks but in understanding.
Right.
So as our director says, we should not be only a good teaching place, but we should be a good learning place. And therefore that good learning place has to happen. The students should come to class not for attendance but for real learning. And that is where we are attempts. It will not be a very fast process. It will be a bit slow process. But then how to assess also is a very, in an AI ML way, if I give assignments, the student can get it solved by AI ML.
Right.
Easily they can get it solved. So how do I assess them? Let them use AI ML. We are open for that thing. It's available to them as a tool. It can remain as a tool. Can they do better learning with that AI possibilities? Can I therefore ask them, learn everything but present to me in front of me, use this blackboard and start, explaining to me things. So can I do that way? So there are different ways right now how to teach in a classroom, how to learn and how to assess them are the challenges. And once we learn, I'm sure our knowledge will percolate down to other NITs and IITs also.
Right.
And that is what we are experimenting on right now.
One bit that I've always felt, being an engineer myself, is that hands-on training, hands-on working on things is very
important. So
important.
here we are coming with internship now. So we are right now try to have two types of internship. One is a social internship, because most of the students that are coming to us have come from different coaching classes, and that too coaching classes for 3 years before they came to IIT Bombay. So their 10th, 11th and 12th have gone into coaching classes, and they're very competitive in nature therefore. So there they lack skills of talking to each other also many times.
Right.
Possibly their laptops and mobile phones are much dearer to them than any students. So we would like them to see how service can be offered. Can I do, can I see people where some products are being made? You try to, spend time with the people and talk to them, understand from them. So what we call as social entrepreneurship. And in after third year, we call it a technical entrepreneurship within a company, within industry. So we are thinking about, and we would like to give credits for this also. So this is a very important change that we are doing. That need not be everything be course based, but yes, hands-on based also. Our problem was how to manage this. So many times these students who go for different industries, do all kinds of work and they don't do any learning. When they come back, they have not learned anywhere. And most of the time I saw the attention was going abroad,
Right.
which means more and more sort of, tourism,
Right.
that kind of a thing. So now we would like to limit it and see that, it's properly executed. Whenever they are going somewhere, we will keep a track of them also. And possibly based on that, when they come back, we would like them to present the case to us, and based on that, we can give them the credit marks also. So this is the big change that we are doing. So more experiential learning focus will be, more credit-based internship, and we were not giving projects in the final year. Again, we have to relook at those things in the projects also.
Right. So coming back to SINE, mentorship is considered as a very important part of an incubator.
Important. Very important.
So in terms of early stage startups, first time entrepreneurs, or even professors as entrepreneurs for the first time, what are some of the mistakes that are very common to these scenarios, and how does SINE help them navigate this space, being a mentor for them?
Well, SINE can offer a good co-founder, that is A. But as I said, every professor need not become, himself or herself as CEO. You have to hire a proper CEO. And I always said that, have your best student coming forward, and he or she should be the co-founder. So professors becoming entrepreneur, it doesn't mean that professor become entrepreneur. Professors cannot think the entrepreneurial way. Professors are meant to be good teacher and good researcher only, and I would like them to continue doing that thing. For the reasons I told earlier also.
Right.
So I would like that part to be taken care by the student, by the PhD student. But the SINE can play a very important role here, because SINE can offer them, now I can see SINE helping each other so much, that they can offer them a co-founder. Somebody working at some other place would like to switch over, for example. That is happening. But then alumni can play a very important mentor role in that sector now.
Do you think that is lacking? There is a lack of initiative from the from the alumni?
Well, we have to initiate that. I had done that focus. Alumni have to give time for that thing. But I had talked about having a vertical, for example, healthcare. Can we have some 10 people who could be the alumni who actually can help all the companies which are in healthcare? You know, out of 10, not all will be available at one time, but at least 5 of them will definitely be available. So can we have their meetings? Can we have a meeting on semiconductor, IoT, healthcare, water, etc., etc.? We can have different verticals, and therefore such mentors should be identified. And I think the best mentors are our alumni, because they have that passion and connect with the companies, and I've seen they're interested in startups also. So they may be equity holders tomorrow, possibly if they like, but need not be always. But as a mentor, they can definitely be welcoming. SINE has to do some big initiatives, take big initiatives in this direction.
Okay. With your wealth of knowledge, experience, having looked at different kind of startups, being in the international space as well, can you give us a list, a checklist kind of a thing where an entrepreneur thinks that, okay, so and so are the things that I need to look at before I take the plunge for the first time being a founder?
Yeah, I think the first is a product, the technology, and I should make a sense that it is required. You can't create a market so much, but I should know that such a thing is required outside. That is A. Second thing, I need a good co-founder. If I'm talking about as a good team, I would say.
Right.
So first is a good product. I need a good team. I need a good ecosystem, very importantly, like SINE. Therefore, then I'll say, of course, the funding requirements are always there. So I think these are 3-4 things that I have to take care of. And of course, I need a good space. So in Mumbai, space is a big problem. And therefore, SINE plays a very important role. But SINE gives only office space.
Right.
And this is something that we are relooking at right now. Because the office space is good for people to come in. But my product requires space also. Right. And where will I do manufacturing, for example? So we are actually coming up with all kinds of possibilities, where facilities where the manufacturing also can be helped. And for those companies who have to assemble their products, where will they do? I mean, IIT Bombay's laboratories are not open for them now, because they are doing a corporate business actually. So we are actually looking at possibility of giving space to such companies where they can, of course, get their fabrication done. At the same time, they can be given some workshop space also, where this assembly and these experiments can be carried out. These are very important requirement when we are talking about deep tech product-centric companies.
Do you feel, about your last sentence, do you feel that that's a gap that needs to be plugged? The IIT Bombay laboratories not being available to the founders or the startups. Is there a workaround for that?
No, but laboratory is meant for the research purpose of the professors, right? See, otherwise what will happen, there's a conflict of interest. If somebody starts working in my lab, that means IIT Bombay space is being used, and again the IP creation and everything will have a problem by definition. If I'm using IIT Bombay's resources, then the IP belongs to IIT Bombay. All right. And right now there is so much of crunch of space at IIT Bombay itself that the professors are struggling to find the lab space for themselves.
Right.
So if I'm not using my lab space, but somebody else is using, my lab space will be taken off.
Right.
So every professor has got a his or her lab right now, and that is because of which the space is a crunch. But therefore we are trying to create more and more space meant for. See, IIT Bombay SINE was promised to create only office space, and now that we understand the need for a deep tech will be experimental space also. So we're trying to work on that.
Right. You spoke about a number of founders that you have met in your tenure as a pick, right? There must be some number of, like a particular number of skills that really stand out in a founder, the practical skills. I mean, you did speak about product, you did speak about funding and all, right? But there are some practical skills that really stand out and differentiate one founder from the other. Is there a playbook here, or you feel that, it's like the 5 fingers and every person has a different way of looking at it?
I think every person has a different skill, but what is at the base of many of these entrepreneurs, should I say, that it is the networking skill that they have. So they really have good networking skills, and they will not miss an opportunity. So if there is a some get together happening related to some sector, or somebody's lecture is happening related to their area, they will take pains of going to that place and to attend that also. So of all prominence, somebody are very, very good at so I think there's no one founder, I should say. There's a group of people, right? There are founders and co-founders,
Right.
and each of them have got different skills. They
Right.
got complementary skills, not the
Right.
same skills. But somebody is good at very, very good at technology. Somebody is good at networking, marketing. Somebody is very happy to deal with government sectors also.
Right.
Because of somebody is in defense sector, naturally he has to deal with more with the government sector. So the team that fulfills all these objectives by having 3 or 4 persons together, I will not say I have met one person like that who had possibly all the skills. I will not say that thing.
It's always a team
Yeah,
game.
it is. Otherwise, sometimes sometimes he will talk or she will be able to talk only about technology, but may not be able to do business, may not be able to close due diligence.
Right.
So term sheet, understanding of valuation, etc., big things.
Right.
I'm sure you know about
Yeah,
that finances.
yeah.
So these are the things that I think many of the entrepreneurs will not understand, and they leave it to somebody who understands this.
Right. Right. So in the deep tech space, sir, do you feel that coming from an engineering background is the game changer here, or do you feel that there are founders that can navigate the space without being engineers?
So I will not say that somebody requires to be engineers only for this thing. Knowledge of science is good enough because we are talking about deep tech. So somebody with MSc, also it's good enough. BSc, MSc, PhD, and need not be engineering only. In the Indian context, MSc is becoming more and more theoretical right now. But exposure to IITs, working there as project staff, also you can start a venture. So I will not say only for engineers. It's true. It can be from any vertical direction as long as they got exposure. So exposure related with common sense and exposure understanding the startup business and funding possibilities, marketing avenues, etc., good enough to become a startup. Absolutely not a problem.
So I feel that you're very enthusiastic about the startup space and especially
I am.
the deep
I got
tech
my
space.
own startup now. I've got 2
is
startups
it?
right now. So
Okay. That's best of luck for that, sir.
Thank you.
So I just wanted you to give a 2-minute sermon for inspiring our youth, how they can get into deep tech startups, how they can become entrepreneurs and really contribute to the national interest.
See, I will not say everybody can become, an entrepreneur. We say always 5-6% only can become entrepreneurs. But then I would like everybody to, if not becoming an entrepreneur, work in a startup. Because this entrepreneurial thinking, entrepreneurial attitude is very important. So taking risk, if you don't take risk in life, possibly you will lead a very ordinary life, I'll say. So the risk-taking attitude has to be there. I myself have left a government job, a well-paying government job, and left it for a company abroad where nothing, everything is sort of hanging around. I left it for the pension-paying job and so on and so forth. So I had to take a big risk for that thing, which I did. But yes, not that everybody can become entrepreneur. There are a lot of people who would like to have a very nice, cozy job. Not to blame them, it's the background that they come from. But I feel that today's generation, which is in every family, at least the middle class family, 500 million that we talk about, many of them have only 1 or 2 kids, and family can take care of in the middle class. They can let the kids to not have a startup immediately, but at least let them work in a startup.
Right.
At least for 2 or 3 years to understand. Because startup is the place where you understand everything. Startup is a place where you understand our product, you understand about networking, you understand our communication skills, you understand finances, commerce.
Ownership of things.
Absolutely, and do the presentation in 2 minutes. This is a very important thing that you don't have to talk for 10 minutes, but in 1 or 2 minutes, you got a skill to present and talk about your product. It's a very important skill that you learn in 1 or 2 years. And then, of course, the sky is open to you, basically. So I feel that this possibility should be made available to every youngster in India. Whether they take or not is their take. But at least the facilities or possibilities should be made open to them.
I see. So thank you so much for this podcast, sir. Thank you so much for sparing time.
And in fact, I could hear myself coming out with different thought processes which such questions are thrown to me.
Right.
I didn't know the answers to many, but I could think about it and possibly come out with right
I'm very
answers.
sure that your insights will inspire a lot of youth to come into the path
Hopefully.
of entrepreneurship.
Thank you very much.
And best of luck for your ventures, sir. And I hope to have another chat with you sometime soon.
Best on those ventures, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so
right,
much.
Sure.
Thank
Thank you, sir.